Welcome back, you guys. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another news daily video. Now, I've got a few stories to mention for the day. They are going to surround the latest surrounding Ross Barkley, Emerson, Areola news, and the new leaks away kit for the next season. So it is going to be another informative video for you guys. However, before I get into anything, two things. If you like today's video, smash that like button. I want to target over 2,000 likes for today's video. And for the second piece, if you guys want to stay up to date to the latest news, information, discussion surrounding Chelsea right now, I suggest that you press that bell notification button. We now get into things, starting with the first story, and that surrounds Ross Barkley. Now it seems like West Ham have not given up in their pursuit to bring him to their club. We know that back in January, reports did surface suggesting that West Ham did attempt a loan offer. They did attempt a loan move to bring Ross Barkley during that period. However, things didn't play out. Naturally, it makes a ton of sense. Right during that period, we did have injury concerns, and it made no sense to sell Ross Barkley, especially if it was a loan move. So it does suggest that maybe West Ham's interest really is concrete. It is real. They've had a history of attempting to make moves for the player, and in that sense, this would be the opportunity for Ross and David Moyes to reunite and work together again. So in that sense, I feel like there could be something very tangible behind the scenes. West Ham want mobility in their midfield, and they will definitely get that from Ross. He's a very fit player, he works very hard too, and tactically, his positional game and his tactical game are very strong and very solid. So I could see how he does automatically improve that West Ham midfield. And I could also see how we could potentially do some business with West Ham that could involve Declan Rice moving to us and Barkley moving in the other direction. Now, the reason why player swap deals don't tend to work out too often is because most times one player isn't interested in the other party. If we consider things objectively, would Barkley be interested in making the step down to a club like West Ham? They're not offering European football. I mean, yes, they could offer his wages that he wants and demands. That's very easy for them. But from that footballing aspect, for that footballing ambition, can they offer the same thing? And would Barkley be interested? I'm not too sure, you guys. I guess you could only hope that West Ham have very serious plans to restructure their team, and I'm assuming that they'd have to fund this by obviously selling some of their players. Declan Rice could be the perfect player to sign for us. It does seem like maybe Lampard does want him, and he wants to sign him as a centre-back, so with that news, I think we have to accept that. And we have to accept the real qualities that Declan Rice actually has. He is a great football player, he does have technique, he can move the ball, he's not the Brexit Busquets and all these other words used against him. You know, he has a lot more techers than that, you guys. So let's see the player a bit more fairly. I'd imagine if a deal was done, I don't necessarily think this would involve a player swap due to just how difficult those types of deals tend to be. In a sense, I think it might be quite similar to how Juventus and Barcelona agree fees between Arta and Pjanic. In that sense, we could write the player costs off in the account books and things would work out great for both clubs. So it's interesting to see what the future may hold for Barkley. You know, his form has been very good recently, and you guys know I'm not afraid to praise players if they're doing the right things. But if we are a club moving to the next level, if we're targeting players like your Kai Havertz and potentially another attacking player too, this is going to greatly diminish the possible game time that Barkley could get. So maybe right now, while his form is still hot, while we can command the most amount of money for the player, maybe it's time to cash in and reinvest back into the team. We now move on to the second story today, and it's time to focus on these leaked away kit shots for next season. As you can see, footy headliners were the ones to break the reveal again, and immediately, it seems like this kit is heavily inspired by that 05-06 away kit. You know, I like the little graphic details too on the kit. I like the color scheme, it looks quite nice as well. And you know, I do like that grey blue color as well. You know, this gives us a better idea of how it's going to look like, and straight away, I'm a big fan of that V-neck collar. I like just the simple colors, and sometimes with great design, yeah, it's not necessarily groundbreaking or just doing new things, but sometimes great design doesn't always have to do that. I think we're going for just bold, classy, minimalistic visuals. I think it's looking quite nice. I think the side panels too, and just the nice small details we've added really just elevate this like pretty simple and pretty classic idea. And maybe in that sense, it kind of like reflects the club and London. We are a club in West London, which is known for, you know, it's like celebrity culture and, you know, the amount of affluent people that live there as well. So I guess the kit does symbolize aspects of our club. Obviously, clicking on things, we can see the other aspects of the kit, closer details and closer shots. The shorts, you know, of course, they're going to be quite simple as well. And yeah, the nice details on the side with the side panel, pride of Chelsea. You know, that's what I mean. Those nice small touches just to elevate this very simple design. But yeah, I honestly like the look of things. As I was saying with the home kit reveal, when I first saw it, it didn't like light my world on fire. But when I saw the team playing in it, immediately impressed me, immediately got me excited to cop this thing on Thursday too. It looked great. The color choice is excellent too. Bold, sticks out. As I keep stressing, I'm personally looking forward to next Thursday, you guys. But anyway, in the comment section below, how do you feel about this away kit? Is it nice? Is it growing on you? Let me know below. We now move on to the third story today, and this is the latest news surrounding Emerson. Now, reports were coming out late last night from Italy stating that now the Inter Milan have officially signed Hakimi from Dortmund, and you know, my initial impressions on that signing was like, why has he decided to go there? But then, you know, I took some time to think about things. Right now, Carvajal is in the prime years of his career. He hasn't flopped, he hasn't regressed, he's still one of the best right backs in European football right now. And most importantly, he suits playing more as a right back compared to playing as a right wing back. So I can see how it's obvious how Hakimi is going to naturally work under Antonio Conte. Now they've wrapped him up, they are now turning their attentions back to Emerson. And this is where things do get interesting, because journalists from Italy, the esteemed ones, the ones that have been doing this for a very long time, your Romanos, etc., they have come out tweeting that Emerson does want to leave. And is that really even a surprise? You know, he's barely got minutes since his long spell in the team during the start of the season. It's quite obvious that Lampard isn't feeling something about the player. I would love to personally know, maybe once Emerson eventually leaves, what were the main issues behind why Lampard didn't have too much faith in the player, and why Lampard wasn't using him so much. I would honestly love to know, because I can't really say that, you know, of course, if Emerson is sold, was he really a flop? I can't remember him having bad games where he was like noticeably just like reducing the quality in the team, noticeably making bad mistakes and really costing us heavily in games. At times, I would say he's just been a pretty solid professional player. That's all I can really say. But of course, if the player does want to leave, he does want to play more, obviously, and he does want to play and maintain his place in his international team, then actually making that move back to Serie A and playing under Conte could be the best thing to do. I like to think that we could get some decent money selling Emerson, because of course his contract is longer than Alonso's and he is younger as well, meaning that we could command some more money. I'm hoping that Inter Milan aren't going to try and do us dirty by, you know, placing really like below valuation bids. That would be a complete waste of everyone's time. We'll find out pretty soon what Inter's offer is going to be, and that's because this was confirmed in the articles that came out late last night and early this morning. Inter have begun their talks, and I'd assume that maybe Emerson is very likely to sign for Inter Milan at this point in time. This would be a good career move for him. I've stated so many times already, you guys, and in that sense, I guess good luck to him in the future. It's obvious that he is most definitely leaving once the season does end. And I think the only thing I really care about now is what left back we're targeting, because we're looking at quite a lot of left backs. We've cast our net far and wide, great options available in the market as well. However, we haven't actually put out who the main option is going to be. Of course, Ben Chilwell is that guy, but you know, Leicester's valuation is way too high, and I just can't imagine them reducing that. I just don't see them doing that whatsoever, and I think it's going to be a matter of time until we give up on signing him and move on to other cheaper alternatives instead. So on that point, we now move on to the fourth and final story today. And that's the latest news surrounding Areola, who's currently on loan at Real Madrid. Now, this does follow on from yesterday's News Daily video, where I was speaking about the news that Kepa could most likely be pushed out on loan if we get the right offers from clubs in Spain, and of course, if we find an affordable way to obviously just subsidize his wages. It does seem that due to the ridiculous amount of money that we spent to complete the Kepa deal, it seems like that is going to affect us, and it could affect how we improve the goalkeeping area. Now, reports are suggesting that Areola is being seen as a loan target for next season. Areola does have previous with this club as well. Christoph Lolachon, our goalkeeping coach, has been a big fan of the player, and when it comes to just his understanding of goalkeepers in Ligue 1, we can't forget that he worked alongside Petr Cech all those years back in the day when both guys were still at Rennes, and of course, his understanding of Ligue 1 and the quality. He's going to be an expert, he's going to understand what to look for, and Areola is a pretty decent keeper. Now, do I see him necessarily as that upgrade to Kepa? I wouldn't say that. I think that maybe he has attributes in his game that makes him a lot stronger. At least his catching ability from set pieces is better, and he plays with a lot more confidence and assertiveness. Now, this is purely my opinion, but the fact that we'd be entertaining a possible loan move tells me that he isn't seen as a long-term option, and maybe could possibly suggest, and this was something I was touching upon in yesterday's video, that maybe he could be seen as that competition figure alongside Kepa. And I say this because I feel like the likelihood of actually selling Kepa or Kepa going out on loan could be quite remote. I do think it's something that Lampard would like, but I think the actual reality of getting a deal done in this time where we have so many other key players and key targets we are still after, I feel like it could be a bit too ambitious. So it does make sense that the club would find some creative plan B options, some creative workarounds in case the inevitable does happen. And I think actually going for a loan move for Areola could be the best thing to do short term for one more season before we scout and focus on the next goalkeeper to sign. So let's see what happens. I do believe that when it comes to the goalkeeping news and Kepa's future, there's going to be so many different targets that are going to come up. I don't think there's a strong candidate right now to act as his replacement. Right now, Lampard and Petr Cech are still just focusing on the best candidates to act as potential replacements. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see what news comes out as the summer goes on. And without wasting no more time, that is going to be me for the day, you guys. I hope you enjoy. I'm in the FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.